Woo! What's going on, everybody? Oh, look at that fucking gut. That thing's gonna be gone by July, bitches. I'm about 190 right now. I'm trying to ultimately get down to about 165, but by July, this should be drastically reduced. And it doesn't help this seat that I'm sitting in. Fucking assholes. Making me look like a fatty fuck. Anyway, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Tuesday morning edition of the Off Base Podcast, the podcast carefully crafted to remind you to open wide. Suck on a fat one if you think you're the only one. I am your host. I'm the Rocky Mountain no-name Jackass, and it's 46 degrees in the city of Aurora at 7:53 in the a.m. on Tuesday, April 26, 2022. Chaw time. My wife's least favorite part of the podcast, and I can't blame her. Ceremonial first spit. Okay. Let's go. First and foremost, my sleep absolutely sucked last night. We'll get to that in a second, though. We picked up one of the kids in our neighborhood to take her to school this morning because her mom, I think, is going out of town. I can't remember. But anyway, she's nice, really nice kid. And I have to remind my stepchildren that when somebody enters our car or house, the very least you can do is say hello to them. But they get wrapped up in their phones. They don't remember etiquette, courtesy. It's all right. We got to teach them to. You know, we had a friend back in San Antonio who had 3 kids, and when we knew her, the kids were, well, we still know her, but when we were there, her kids were all teenagers. And she was off. We often quoted her as saying, and this is how she described children: assholes learning not to be. And it's true. I was one. I was an asshole. I like to think I've evolved from my assholishness, from asshole to jackass, right? But yeah, you know, when you're that young, you're in your own head. You're wrapped up in yourself. What the fuck do you care about other people? So you say things or do things from selfish perspectives. That makes good sense. All right, before we get back to the sleep issue, which I'm very much pissed about. Yesterday, I finished by talking about the financial markets, and there's a guy that I've watched. Listen, when it comes to watching videos on the markets, man, I have watched them all. Just so many different quote-unquote gurus out there. People trying to sell their trading services and blah, blah, blah. There's one guy that I really like. His name is David Frost. He does, I think his channel is called My Strategic Forecast. He actually does an incredibly good job, common sense approach to navigating the markets. And I've been following the markets for really over 10 years now. I haven't been successful at trading them at all because my psychology and emotions got in the way. I haven't made a trade in a long, long time. Coming up on a year now. But David Frost has been analyzing the current downtrend, and it's very interesting. Not yesterday. Well, I guess yesterday, we reversed off of a gap lower to start the day, and that gap is starting to approach, I think it's the February lows or early March lows. But the reversal was not as violent as you want to see for a turnaround. Now the S&P, I think, is down at about 4,300. It hit a high of 4,800, so that's roughly a 10% decline from here. Nasdaq's down even worse, as is the Russell. But the S&P is the one that pretty falls because it's the 500 largest companies in the United States. That gives you the best beat, I guess you could say, on the economy. Not maybe on the markets. Although markets are forward-looking, so they're gonna discount 3 to 6 months in advance. Anyway, my point being that for years and years and years, I mean, this bull market started in 2009. So shit, I've been following the market since 2007, so 15 years. But this bull market started in March 2009, March 9th, 2009. Never forget it, because the S&P 500 hit a low of 666. Rather ominous, right? And I have been waiting for things to turn for a long time. And a lot of that had to do with my recency bias, because when I started trading the markets, it was at the 2007 tops. So what I saw for the next 2 years were some vicious declines because of the housing crisis. So as far as my experience went, well, shit, I was just waiting for the turn every day, to turn back lower, after we hit our bottom in 2009. And we really should have cleared the excesses out of the system, but the Federal Reserve did not allow that because they started their quantitative easing program back in 2009. For those of you who don't know what that is, let's see if I can do an understandable, quick synopsis of what quantitative easing actually is. Let's see. So when the Federal Reserve is in an easing process or an easing mode, what they're doing is they're making money more available to people who need it for loans by lowering the rate of interest. Now, the Federal Reserve doesn't directly loan out money to me or you. They loan it out to the commercial banks. And then it's the commercial banks who then end up loaning it out to us. So whatever the banks get the money at, whatever interest rate they get the money at, they charge us a higher interest rate. And then there you go. There's their profit margin. There's their spread. So when the Federal Reserve is easing, they're bringing interest rates lower, making money more available at a lower price. When they are tightening, they are raising interest rates. They are currently in the process of finally raising interest rates for the first time since 2018. 18 is when they reversed. In 2018, fourth quarter of 2018, in one quarter, we had a 20% drop in the markets because the Fed said they were gonna tighten and raise rates. So what is this quantitative easing shit? Well, the quantitative easing is they're not raising or lowering interest rates, but what they are doing is they are expanding their money supply, just creating money out of thin air in order to buy bonds, particularly U.S. I think 10-year and less, to drive bond rates down. Okay? So basically, again, it's easing. It's making it's making the interest rate less. So whenever bonds are in demand, well, that's going to increase the price of the bond, but it decreases the rate at which the bond is paid out. Now, why would they want to do something like this? Well, they wanted people who had money on the sidelines to start investing that money in riskier assets to get the economy growing. Man, that's a pretty good explanation, if I may say so. And while on paper, I mean, that sounds like a phenomenal plan, the fact of the matter is that what you are doing by pushing people into riskier and riskier assets is you are discouraging savings. You are artificially keeping the interest rate low, again, to discourage savings. But who knows where that actual interest rate actually should be. I mean, right now, the U.S. 10-year is right under 3%. 3% interest rate. Now, back when we were growing up in the 80s, you can probably remember your parents having to pay like a 10%, 12% mortgage. 10-year U.S. Treasuries were in between 6 and 8%, which means they were a fantastic investing vehicle. You get 6 to 8% per year on your money. That's pretty good. According to the rule of 72, you double your money. I think every 10 years. I think that's the rule. At any rate, the Federal Reserve, in my humble opinion, just fucked it all up, because by stepping in and not letting the market clear, they came in and artificially propped it up. In particular, all those fucking banks. So many of those banks should have gone bust, because they are the ones who made the bad decisions. They are the ones who lent money out to people who didn't deserve, had no business getting loans to buy houses. No business. So the predatory lending that went on during that period was ridiculous. I don't want to go, I stopped myself because I don't want to go too far on a rant. Fact of the matter being that interest rates have been at zero or near zero for over a decade. A decade. The Federal Reserve is finally raising them, although the market's been doing it for them, which is great. In fact, to make a long story short, if we go back to the equity markets, once interest rates start to rise, well, now you actually have competition for stocks. When interest rates are low, it's like, well, why would I put my money in bonds? I'm not getting any interest. I might as well just go into stocks. And in particular, the best stocks that pay dividends: Microsoft, Apple. Now people really push their money into Netflix, and Google, and Tesla, and Amazon, Facebook as well, but those guys don't pay dividends. It's companies like Apple and Microsoft that are the big ones that are growing and pay a dividend. So if you get a dividend, let's say you get a 2% dividend, 3% dividend, that's better than a 10-year treasury at the time, which was, at zero. Not zero. 10-year treasuries, I don't think got below 1%. I don't think. I could be wrong about that. Either way, with rates going up, now you have competition for stocks, which means stocks are going to sell off. That's the bottom line. So, what we saw in the markets yesterday as the S&P 500 approached the February lows wasn't that violent reversal that tells you, hey, we're going back up. It was a reversal, but it wasn't violent. It's a reversal that's saying, okay, maybe we should just kind of hang out here, bounce. But it looks like they're going lower, everybody. And, after doubling off of the COVID bottom, the market fucking doubled in a year and a half. That's insane. I think a pullback is not only necessary, but warranted. Maybe I should reverse that. Warranted, but necessary. Suffice to say, many people believe that the Federal Reserve will not allow the markets to go below a certain point. So if the markets really start puking all over Wall Street and the Federal Reserve, many people are convinced that the Federal Reserve will stop their tightening policy and go right back to easing. And then back to quantitative easing as well, which is buying more and more bonds, more U.S. Treasuries. It sucks. Again, all that does is it discourages savings. And that is how an economy grows. Savings and investment. It doesn't grow by buying Bitcoin. Okay. Let's move off of that topic. It was actually nice to revisit it. It's nice to say it out loud every once in a while and make sure that I'm knowing my shit as best I can, because there's always new information coming at you when it comes to the markets. So, let's get back to yesterday. Man, I was fucking pissed. Stepson and I worked out. We had a really good workout. There were plenty of exercises, and this is our last pull routine, Pull, of phase 3. And then we move on to phase 4 next month, which is Murph month. But both of us had several different exercises where we were up in either our weight or our reps and making very good progress. Like, I finished out deadlifting 95 on each side, which is 190 plus the bar. I ended up deadlifting 235 6 times, 4 sets. It was awesome, very awesome. I did get 10 pull-ups my first round of pull-ups, and then I went 10-8-6 or 10-7-6. Pull-ups are always tough to do for us in our particular routine, because right before we do pull-ups, we do a round of sit-ups, but before the sit-ups, we end up doing bicep curls on a machine that locks your elbows, so you're really using your biceps, which, of course, is going to make pull-ups tougher. So, needless to say, all right, we get done with the workout, and like I said, it was great. I was really feeling it. I came home, I threw some salmon in the oven. So we had some delicious salmon to finish off the day. Got ready for bed. My body was tired. My brain felt like it was shutting down. But I could not fucking fall asleep. I was sitting in bed. My eyes were closing, and I heard something in the kitchen, and that woke me up. And I kept hearing stuff in the kitchen, and it was a combination of either the washing machine or the ice maker. And finally, at like 10:30, I was like, fuck. So I got up. I was laying in bed for an hour and a half, trying to fall asleep. Couldn't do it. And the end result is I only got about 4 hours of sleep last night, which fucking sucks. So I will definitely be trying to remedy that tonight. Anyway, coming up today, kids don't have anything after school. I'm either going to get my son out to be hitting some baseballs, or we'll go to the simulator at the gym if it's too cold, and he can hit balls off the tee there. It's Taco Tuesday, so I'll make the kids their food right when we get home so they can eat, and then I'll make a cauliflower pizza for me and my wife later on. So, yeah. What else is going on? Let's see if there's anything else that I can talk about here. Ooh, I gotta make this turn before these cars start coming. I do have to go potty. It's so funny as a parent, man. I remember when it got to the point when I was growing up, my brothers and sister, when my parents would ask us, when we're teenagers, if we had to go potty. And it's just so funny, because as a parent, you guys know, my 2 podcast listeners, when you're a parent and you got the little kids, you always ask, you gotta go potty? Let's go potty. Or they'll come up, I gotta go potty. And that phrase, it's just a cute phrase for little kids, to say, to go to a potty. And it's hard to get rid of, because, you look at them even when they're teenagers, and I definitely want them to continue to grow and evolve as human beings. My wife wants them all to stay little. But as a parent, as an adult, I will still refer to the bathroom as the potty. Why was I? Did I mention? No, I didn't. when you're a kid, when you're growing up and you're a teenager and your parents call it the potty. This is what I wanted to say earlier. I don't know if I did. But for some reason that pissed me off. It pissed all of us off, my brothers and my sister. Because, you're getting older. You don't call it the potty anymore. It's the bathroom or the restroom. But in the parents' mind, it's the potty. Gotta go potty. Anyway, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. I gotta take our ski gear back, man. That shit's gonna close down. I got a reminder on my Outlook. And I will be doing that today because they're closed on Wednesdays. Long line to get on the base here today. Holy hell, everybody. So my lovely wife is going to be going out of town again this coming weekend. Her cousin Brandon is getting married. He's a different bird, that guy. I don't know if he has Asperger's or something like that. My wife has talked about it before. And he actually asked my wife if he had it. He's an interesting dude. But, yeah, he's getting married this weekend. And his future wife, when I had met her, I think she's deaf. I think. And when I had met her, we met her at another wedding that we had gone to. Well, his sister's wedding. And we went to his sister's wedding. I met his girlfriend, and like nobody was talking to her, and she was like sitting by herself. So I went over and was chatting her up, and come to find out that she was deaf. And the way in which we discovered that we could communicate was we were texting each other. And this poor guy, oh man, I felt bad for him because, I'm married to his cousin. We have a child together, and I'm stepfather to her other two. But he got so jealous. I felt so bad for him. I'm like, come on, dude. I am 40 years old. I'm not trying to steal your girlfriend from you. But, he's the type of guy, he's a little socially awkward. I don't know if he had a girlfriend before her. Maybe he had one or two. But he was in love, so on one hand, I was happy for him. I get it. But on the other hand, when you just don't have the experience and you don't know how to handle those emotions when they come up, it's like, oh boy. I can't remember the details of the story, but yeah, I felt bad for him. Needless to say, I'm not going to the wedding. Not because he didn't invite me, but because, I got to stay here and take care of the kids. Also, even if I could go, I don't think I would, just so that, he would feel comfortable on his day. Now, I don't think he has, any sore feelings towards me anymore, but on the outside. But maybe on the inside, there's just that little something left. Who knows? Who knows? Time to get scanned, everybody.
Morning.
Oh, good morning, sir.
Have a good day.
Thank you much. Hey, guy. That's interesting. The sign over here says it's 55, but my car says it's 48 degrees Fahrenheit, that is, everybody. All right. Well, we're back on base. At least I was able to talk to you guys about quantitative easing. Quantitative because they're throwing quantities of money at it. I don't know if I said that earlier. But I hope I explained it in such a way that you understood what the hell was going on. So, we'll just wait for that view of downtown Denver. And we'll shut things down on a Tuesday here in April in Aurora, Colorado. And there it is. Downtown Denver. I think the Nuggets are still in the playoffs, I think. They're having a pretty good year with the Joker. Oh yeah, they're playing Golden State. They won the other day. I really like our coach too. He's positive. I don't know if he has the killer instinct, but I think he's thinking more long term in terms of the franchise continuing to grow. Excuse me. It's funny, when we were living in San Antonio was a strong contender. They won a couple NBA championships when we lived there with Timmy Duncan. Oh my God, what the hell kind of hiccups do I have? So maybe we brought that luck over to Denver, and a joker will lead these guys to an NBA championship next year. I don't think they're going to do it this year. They're down 3-1 against the Golden State Warriors. Anyway, I'll close it down for today, everybody. I hope your Tuesday is awesome. Get good sleep, unlike me. But do it. Do your best, forget the rest, and I'll smell you tomorrow.